Okay, let's try homework problem number 3. So we've got P1, P2, and P3. Let's see now. P1, P2, P3. P1 is 30 pounds. P2 is 55 pounds. P3 is 56 pounds. Now it says determine the x and y components. So to find the angle of these, what we can do is we can take the tangent, which is going to be the opposite over adjacent angles for all of this, but to just get theta, we can do the arctangent of all of these. So what P1 would become then is, let's see, theta equals arctan of 80 over 84. And for P2, it's going to be the same thing, inverse tan. And this one's also going to be inverse tan. And P2 is going to be 96 over 28. And P3 is going to be 48 or 90 over 48. And this is going to equal 43.6. This one's going to be 73.74. This one's going to be 61.93. Degrees. So now we have all the angles. What we then can do is calculate the x and y components for each of these. So I'm going to put, let's see, P1, P2, and P3 here, and we can have an x and a y. And for the x component, it's going to be P1 cosine of theta 1. So actually we can just label these theta 1, theta 2, and theta 3 so that it is less confusing. And the y components are going to be P1 sine of theta 1. So now what we can do is we could say that x, in this case, is going to equal (30) times the cosine theta. And it's going to be sine theta. So 30 let's not write that there. Just to clean it up. But what we're going to be doing is it's going to be like 30 cosine 43.6. And that's going to give us this number here. And then down here, this one's going to be like 55 cosine 73.74. And then same thing with this, it's going to be 56 cosine of 61.93. And the same thing for the y, except for cosine is going to become sine for the y values. So let's quickly put those numbers down. We have 30 cosine 43.6, which is 21.72, and then P2 is going to be 55 cosine 73.74. Or, you know, I guess we can just do sine and cosine of each first. That makes a little bit more sense. So the 30 sine 43.6 is going to be 20.688. And 55 cosine 73.74 is going to be 15.399, and the sine of that is going to be 52.800, and then lastly 56 cosine 61.93 is 26.350, and the sine of this 49.412. And it's saying, oh, it's just asking for the x and y components of all these. So we just pretty much got the problem right there. I'm going to put in 21.72. I'm going to do 725, and then the next one is going to be the y component. It's going to be 20.688, and then 15.399, and 52.800. And then the 56 sine and cosine. The cosine is 26.350, and then the y is going to be 49.412. And yeah, that should pretty much be it. There's the x and y components. So I'm going to check that. And okay, it's flagging this one, and it's flagging this one. So gotta be due to rounding. So 49.4129. I can try to make it 413. And the 15.399. What if it's 15.400? Or I won't even put the 00, so let's do 15.4. And then 49.4. Nope, those are still wrong. Let's see. Let's replug this in. P2 is 55 cosine 73.74, which is 15.399, which is wrong somehow. It's weird that it took most of them, but not all of them, as correct. Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah, I tried 15.4. It doesn't want it. That's super, super interesting because it's exactly 15.4 if you don't round the theta 2. If it's just 55 cosine 73.73979529, it's exactly 15.4. And I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing for Fy, so I'm at a complete loss.